Pocono Raceway. We go to our first and only triangular track on the circuit. This is the only place where we know that we can say what turn 4, because turn 4 here doesn't exist, as everybody would know, for the famed history of the Pocono Raceway. And we're back here for race number 3 of the RCOM Papa John's Truck Series. 24 laps will be the distance right here at the Tricky Triangle. And we had ourselves a very wild and crazy race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Great racing all around. Had a few cautions here and there, and potentially, and also we also had some yellow flag pit stops that kind of played a monkey wrench into how the race unfolded. By the end of it all, however, it was the number 23 of Josh Williamson, who ended up starting the season off on the right foot back at Indianapolis, who won at Charlotte Motor Speedway just a couple of weeks ago to just narrowly take the points lead over Owen Crafton driving the number 4, both drivers are starting at the back of the field, so these drivers are going to have a lot of work cut out for them once they drop the green flag. So speaking of the point standings, let's go ahead and take a look at your points after Charlotte Motor Speedway, heading into race number 3 right here at the Pocono Raceway. It is Josh Williamson, as I mentioned, who comes into this race as the points leader with 72 points in the bag. Owen Crafton second with 68. Reggie Fogelman, from the looks of things, he is starting 4th in this race. He is 3rd in the points with 64 in the bank. Brett Kenningberg starting alongside him in 3rd. He's 4th in the standings with 57 in the bank, tied with Derek Hamill, who sits 5th. Carter Joey is 6th with 46 points in the bank, alongside Joey Miles, who is 7th. Tied with Joey Miles, who sits 7th, and also Mitchell Hodak, who sits 8th. All 3 of them with 46, just to clarify, as you see on your screen. Emily Anderson, who starts in the caboose in this race, 9th with 45 points in the bag. And Cole Raymond, who completes the top 10. I can't even speak anymore. Cole Raymond, who completes the top 10 with 43 points in the bank for him. So this race is definitely going to be very interesting. As I mentioned, 24 laps of action, near 100 kilometers here for this event. And I do not see us leaving this track without having at least one green flag pit stop. It could potentially happen. We're just going to have to be on our toes for it. And as you see there on the front row, that is the number 15 of Nathan Stapleton, and alongside him, the number 25 of Wyatt Walker, both of which have had somewhat of not the best starts to their season. Nathan Stapleton coming into this race 27th in the points with 31 in the bag. And Wyatt Walker, who actually had himself a really good race last time out at Charlotte, he's 20th with 34 in the bank. So both of those drivers starting up front could pay huge dividends by the time this race is over. Well, folks, I think I've done all the talking that I need to make, all the talking that I really need to say here. So I'm going to step aside here and leave it to the professionals. The drivers are strapped into their trucks. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, but in order to get these 36 behemoths rolling off onto the racetrack, we got to get the command to fire the engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
Engines are fired. These trucks are rolling off. So with these 36 drivers, as they roll out onto the racetrack for their pace laps, here's your starting lineup for race 3 of the RCOM Papa John's Truck Series. The field has just taken one to go, and we're getting ready to go green flag racing right here at the Pocono Raceway, our one and only triangular shaped track of the season. As you see on the front row, as I mentioned, that is number 15 of Nathan Stapleton, and alongside Wyatt Walker in the number 25 Rackley Chevy Silverado. And it's Brett Kenningberg, Reggie Fogelman, Mike Manford, Elijah Gordon, Jordan Watt, Madison Tall, Mitchell Collins, Cole Raymond completing the top 10 as they work their way off of turn 2, the tunnel turn, and head down the short straight and into the flat number turn 3. Flat turn number 3, excuse me. Discord's going off, so I apologize for that. There we go. I've just now changed the status to do not disturb. And here we come, off of turn 4, the pace truck is going to peel off, and Nathan Stapleton and Wyatt Walker will lead the field down to get race number 3 underway here at Pocono. Look at them all fan out, starting to go 3 wide as they head into the short chute. Wyatt Walker, using the outside line to his advantage, jumps out to the lead, and they're already 3 wide. Madison Tall in the middle. I see Mike Manford down there on the bottom as they work their way down through the flat turn number 3 and off of turn 4. It's Wyatt Walker out front with Reggie Fogelman second, Stapleton third, Cole Raymond fourth, and I believe that is Bobby Smithfield that is broken out into the 5th position, and indeed that is truck number 75, the black and blue colors, right there in that 5th spot. Fogelman looks to the inside as they head back into turn number 1, but as you see, Wyatt Walker gets that tremendous acceleration off the corner, and we've seen this in years past, especially with the WLA NOS Energy Cup Series. Just to point out, for instance, when you get up on the outside at a place like Pocono, your truck, your vehicle, is just basically a rocket ship from there, and you just shoot out of the corner with such tremendous speed, and you're able to take advantage of maybe 1 or 2 positions, potentially 2, but more realistically 1. But they come off of turn 3, and they're starting to get a little bit strung out single file. Look down over here. Mitchell Collins now under fire from the 66 of Ryan Durrani. That would be for the 7th position, but Durrani didn't have a good enough run down the front stretch, and he'll jump back in line behind Mitchell Collins. You see Alex Bonsignor in that number 46 riding in the 6th position. He comes into this race, if I can get my points back out here, he comes in 31st in the standings. This man is a true racer, and he's not gotten this season started. He didn't get the season started off right, and we almost had an incident down that short straight heading into turn number 3, closer to the back of the field. But one of the first things I ended up seeing was Nathan Stapleton in the 15. He was trying to get underneath of Reggie Fogelman, and that ended up costing him 1 or 2 spots. It may cost him more here as they come down the front straightaway. Look at them all fan out 3 wide, almost 4 abreast as they head back into turn 1. Let's take a look at some of the action going on back over here. There's our previous winner, Josh Williamson, in the middle of a 3 wide situation. No longer. Brett Kenningberg launches off the corner and will take advantage of 2 positions. That would have been for position number 15, I want to say. P15 for Brett Kenningberg is where he currently sits right now. Taking a little bit look further back through the field. Let's take a look at our caboose driver, Emily Anderson. Started 36th in this race. She's already climbed up to 29th. But had herself a pretty decent start to the season. But a bad qualifying run and all has got her all the way back here. And she will be relegated back to 32nd. Meanwhile, look back up here. Nathan Stapleton went from 3rd to, looks like, the 8th position. Lost 5 spots within the span of 2 laps. And now here comes Zachary Fitzwater around the outside and give Fitzy the 8th position in truck number 43. Fitzwater's another guy that could definitely use a really good run in the points. He sits 32nd in the standings. And right now running in that 8th spot now. This could definitely help Zachary Fitzwater out in the point standings. Meanwhile, Wyatt Walker has checked out. This pretty much is Wyatt Walker's race right here, because he, from the looks of things, is going to have about a half a second advantage. At least under that. Just about a half a second advantage over new second place runner Bobby Smithfield. Smithfield having himself a really good season thus far to get things started off. Unfortunately, didn't have the best running at Charlotte. He went from top 5 in the standings to all the way back to 19th in points. That's how quick things can really change, especially at the beginning of the season. Because I mentioned at Charlotte, as the season goes on, it's going to be harder and harder to gain spots in the points as the season progresses. So if you want to get a really good spot in the points, now is the time to pounce. A quarter of the way through the third race of the season here at Pocono. Coming around this time to complete lap 6. Wyatt Walker has led every single lap thus far, and they've gone single file all the way back here till you get to back there to about 15th position. Josh Williamson under fire from Alex Bonsignor, and eventually Derek Hamill as they head back into 1. Bonsignor trying to make the bottom work, but so far it has been the Achilles heel for anybody that's been down there. There's been absolutely no grip whatsoever. So everybody's been having to get out of the gas and just have to fall back in line. So now Williamson is going to retain the 15th position. And Bonsignor, I think, just got kicked back to 18th spot. He was 60s. He's currently being scored 16th, but now he's being shown. He's going to be shown in 18th here once they cross the start-finish line this time around. There is our RCOM Pepsi Amateur Series champion, Addison Jarrell, right now shown just outside of the top 10 in the 11th spot. Didn't have a good race in the season opening event at Indianapolis. Ended up getting herself probably, I think it was a top 10. Yeah, closer. Yeah, definitely a top 10. Probably top 5, I want to say, at Charlotte a couple weeks ago. And now she's starting to get the season turned around quickly. And is wasting no time at all. And that's exactly what you need to do at this stage of the season. At the very early stages of the season, you want to pounce. That way you can have the best season that you can possibly have by the time it's all said and done. New runner-up, that's Cole Raymond. You saw it in the ticker. Bobby Smithfield went from 2nd to 5th in just a small handful of laps. But look at this racing back up here. Trey Smith trying to keep Josh Williamson pinned down to the bottom, and that's exactly what you need here. Because now you're going to see Austin Smith and Kenningberg start to get that good launch off the corner. Nathan Stapleton, Josh Williamson, just to name a couple, they're going to lose a lot of positions if they don't get up there to the top. Because that's where you got the most grip. Meanwhile, up front, battle for the lead. Cole Raymond just barely clipping the apron. And he's not going to be able to take the lead away from Wyatt Walker, who has been putting on a clinic thus far here at the Pocono Raceway. But as I mentioned, there is a chance that we're not going to be leaving this racetrack without having one pit stop closer to the end of this event. I would not be surprised if we had a pit stop closer to the end of the race, so we're going to have to be on our toes for that. Ryan Durrani takes over the 2nd position and is now going to try to chase down Wyatt Walker. Meanwhile, 3 wide for 3rd. Mitchell Collins is going to win that battle, and Cole Raymond is going to fall back to, I want to say, the 5th position, because Gordon might have a really good run on the outside. Dead even down the back straight, down the Long Pond straightaway into the tunnel turn. And Gordon's going to get the advantage coming out of the tunnel turn and down the short straight into turn 3. So now Raymond falls back to the 5th position, maybe 6th here, as Bobby Smithfield gets around Cole Raymond on the outside. So give 5th to Bobby Smithfield. They come down the front straightaway. Look at them all just fan out. Zachary Fitzwater using the middle line. Zoe Summer there in the 20th. Way down to the bottom. Looking back over here. Derek Hamill under fire from Mitchell Hodak. I see John Stewart back here. Man, they're really going at it for position back over here as well. You've got racing all over this racetrack. However, the number 47 of Carter Joey is well detached from the pack of just all this racing that's going on as of right now. So when he actually dominated, he was one of the drivers, I believe, that led the most laps at Charlotte not too long ago. And unfortunately, he goes from that to running dead last right now, which is a very tough break, and that is very disappointing. That honestly is, but it's still early in the season. Still very early in the season. Still closing in on halfway. After Pocono, we'll have 2 more races left, and they're both going to be in Nashville. I believe we're going to the Nashville Fairgrounds first, and then Nashville Super Speedway. Might be the other way around. I'll have to figure that out. But anyways, Mitchell Collins jumps out in second. Gordon is in third. Battle for fourth. Looks like Bobby Smithfield's going to win that one and take it away from Ryan Durrani on the outside. Cole Raymond now starting to move up on the high side. Looks like he's definitely been taking some notes, and he'll go by for the I want to say that is for the 4th spot. The 5th position, excuse me. Here comes Addison Jarrell, and it looks like we're going to have pit stops. There it is. The first 2 trucks coming down pit road just on the halfway point. 12 down, 12 to go. That is William Brock in the 22 and John Stewart in the 98. And you saw them all just fan out as they went down that very long and wide straightaway. You could go 7 wide if you wanted to. Meanwhile, they come down the Long Pond straightaway into turn number 3. Collins trying to take a peek to the inside, but he's not going to have the advantage because, as we mentioned, the outside groove is the preferred way to go at a place like Pocono. And let's see who's all going to come down pit road this time. And it looks like Wyatt Walker will come in. Mitchell Collins as well. Gordon. Smithfield. Pretty much everybody. Everybody's coming in. So the first 2 drivers that came down pit road, William Brock and John Stewart, they may be on to something. Oh, what's going on with Emily Anderson? Huge stack up on pit road, just trying to get to everybody. Everybody's trying to get to their pit stalls, and that's unfortunately the byproduct. You see Joey Miles making contact with Josh Williamson. Hodak got into Addison Jarrell. Unfortunately, this is just a byproduct of getting on to pit road and getting off. Now you see William Brock and John Stewart, top of your screen. They just went on by. They're on the front stretch now. Wyatt Walker's going to win this battle off of pit road. And he's going to have a pretty big margin over Mitchell Collins. And Ryan Durrani, Bobby Smithfield, I thought they were going to make contact. You see William Brock going on by. That is for position. There's John Stewart going on by as well. But everybody came down pit road right there after John Stewart and William Brock decided to come down and get their service. And everybody else decided to follow along. And Wyatt Walker once again jumps out with the lead. Mitchell Collins second. Gordon is third. Bobby Smithfield is in fourth. Ryan Durrani would complete the top 5. Then it's William Brock, who I believe would be in the 6th position now, running in 7th. Would be Cole Raymond. Fitzwater 8th, Jarrell 9th, and I believe John Stewart right here. Well, Fogelman's going to complete the top 10. And John Stewart's going to have the advantage on the outside as they head back into turn number 1. But Wyatt Walker pretty much is gone at this point. He is checked out. 1.23 seconds over Mitchell Collins. That is a pretty impressive margin, if you ask me. Look at Josh Williamson, now under fire from Alex Bonsignor in the 46 as they head back into turn number 2. But Bonsignor knows very well that the outside line has the most grip. Sorry, you could see it. So now Bonsignor is going to lose 1, maybe 2 spots here And there's Nathan Stapleton, our pole sitter. Stapleton looks like he's going to be in the 19th position once they cross the stripe. Man, oh man. So pretty much I think it's just going to come down to these two drivers. You saw the gap shrink right there to now 3/4 of a second, just a little over 3/4 between Walker and Collins. Collins is starting to close in. We're inside of 10 laps to go. It'll be 8 to go when they cross the stripe this time by. And Mitchell Collins is slowly closing in on Wyatt Walker as they head back into turn number 3. Gordon right now has the 3rd spot over Bobby Smithfield. And William Brock right now sitting in the 5th position with Ryan Durrani in 6th. I think it might turn into a 6-truck fight for the win if these 4 can get up to these 2. Collins tried the inside. He wasn't able to get underneath of Walker that time around. And Walker retains the lead, but for how much longer until Mitchell Collins decides to make the move to the outside? You never know. It could happen at any given point. Tough break for Stephen Colon. He's all the way back here in dead last. And I'm really surprised we have not had a caution flag. We've seen in the past that we would usually rack up a lot of drivers in just these huge multi-vehicle accidents that would particularly happen coming out of the tunnel turn, but we haven't seen that at all in this race. So I'm actually kind of curious if these drivers have really been taking notes on past Pocono races and have really put those notes to some form of use, and looks like they have put them into good use, really, to be specific. And Collins has caught Wyatt Walker. 13/100ths of a second is the gap between him and Mitchell Collins. You also have Gordon, Smithfield, Brock, and Durrani all single file. They're all starting to catch up to these 2. So it could turn into a 6-truck fight for the win. Keyword could, but they're starting to run out of time. Slowly but surely running out of time. See if we can try to find any more battles going on here. It looks like Zachary Fitzwater is now going to be under fire from Trey Smith. More particularly, Madison Tall is going to be under fire from Trey Smith in the 38. But it looks like the outside line is going to have the big launch off the corner. Give the advantage to Zoe Summer and Madison Tall. They both get by Fitzy and Trey Smith with a full head of steam. Meanwhile, up front, it looks like it just happened. I think Collins tried to take a peek to the inside of Wyatt Walker, and it's going to cost him a position. So give second place to Elijah Gordon as they come off the corner for 5 laps to go. 5 fingers up in the air. William Brock going way wide on the front straightaway, trying to get a spot on Mitchell Collins as they head back into turn 1. Looks like a battle over here for the 5th position. Bobby Smithfield is going to lose it he's going to lose it over Ryan Durrani. Durrani now moves up into 5th, and now Gordon and Walker are now nose to tail as they head back into the tunnel turn. It'll be 4 to go when they come back around this time by. This is going to be a very interesting finish. Is Wyatt Walker going to be able to lead every single lap in this race? I don't think it's been done in the Papa John's Truck Series. And I think it might be done here today if Wyatt Walker can hold on for just 4 more laps. It could very well be done. Gordon takes a peek to the inside. That may not be a wise choice on his part, because Walker is now in the perfect spot to pull away and check out. and that's going to give Mitchell Collins the second position back. And William Brock going to try to make it 3 abreast. He can't do it. He doesn't have a good enough run. He gets underneath of Gordon, but he's going to lose grip, and that's going to give the 4th spot to Ryan Durrani. Give the 4th position to the 66 as they head through turn 3 now. Here they come to 3 laps to go. It's Walker, Collins, and Gordon. 1, 2, and 3 for the moment. And there's a 4 and 6th chance that Chevrolet is going to go to victory lane out of these 6 drivers. Really 2/3 of a chance that Chevy's going to go to victory lane. If you really focus on these 3, Walker, Collins, and Gordon. Here they come down the Long Pond straightaway. See the kind of racing that's going on back over here. You got Reggie Fogelman under fire from Zoe Summers. That is for the 9th position. Here comes John Stewart underneath of Cole Raymond. He's not going to be able to get that spot. Meanwhile, heading back into turn number 3, it'll be 2 laps remaining. 2 laps remaining here in the 3rd race of the season at Pocono. This is going to be interesting. This will be good. 2 to go. My goodness. We've got a lot of battling going on in the back. Zachary Fitzwater trying to get a spot on somebody back there. But here comes Collins. He's trying to get underneath of Wyatt Walker. Once again, the top side proving to be very beneficial to Wyatt Walker. Ryan Durrani is just about a few tenths back from 3rd place Elijah Gordon. Gordon trying to take a peek underneath of Mitchell Collins for 2nd as they head back into the tunnel turn. Not the wisest decision in the world, and he's going to lose a little bit of ground from the front 2 and will fall into the clutches of Ryan Durrani. But here they come through turn number 3. The white flag is going to be flying this time by for the number 25 of Wyatt Walker. He has led every single lap thus far. Can he basically fill this bottle up and close it? Can he basically put a lid on a perfect lap-to-lap race here at Pocono? Let's find out. Back into turn number 1. Walker gets a really good run on the high side. He's going to barely check out over Mitchell Collins. Down the Long Pond straightaway one last time. He's got a pretty decent cushion over Mitchell Collins, who sits 2nd. Gordon under fire from Ryan Durrani. As they come down the short straightaway one more time and into turn 3 for the last time. Wyatt Walker, who didn't get the season started off on the right foot, gets a good finish at Charlotte. Comes off of turn 4 today. He's led every single lap. Wyatt Walker wins a perfect race at Pocono. How about that for Wyatt Walker? That is nice. Great job for the number 25 team of Wyatt Walker. They have done an absolutely amazing job. Led the very first lap and led all the way to the last one. Absolutely untouchable here at the Tricky Triangle. That is amazing. Mitchell Collins, I'd say this is a good point stage for him. He came into this race actually 18th in the standings, pretty much mid-pack in this group. A 2nd place in this event, definitely going to help him quite a bit, especially even for some of these other drivers that are kind of deep in the point standings. It's going to help him a lot. And for those that are a little bit higher up, I'd say take, for instance, if I can get my points back up, the highest one out of all of them, I would have to say, is none of them, really. But it's going to help him a lot. It's going to help quite a bit in the point standings. And it's pretty much going to show. But at the end of the day, it's Wyatt Walker victorious right here at the Tricky Triangle, Pocono Raceway. So it is Wyatt Walker victorious here at Pocono. Mitchell Collins will come home in 2nd. Elijah Gordon will finish in the 3rd spot. Ryan Durrani will finish 4th. William Brock will round out the top 5. Then 6th is the 75 of Bobby Smithfield. Finishing in 7th is Cole Raymond. 8th is John Stewart. 9th, Reggie Fogelman. And rounding out your top 10 is the number 24 of Madison Tall. Madison Tall is another one that has yet to have a really good run in this in the season, and she got it right here at the Pocono Raceway. And if I go back to my points, as you see positions 11 through 36th, she came into this race 34th in the standings with 16 points in the bank. This is definitely going to help her a lot once we head into the next race. And we're obviously going to be going to Nashville, so I don't know which Nashville yet, but you'll see it on the screen. For race number 4, we're either going to go to the fairgrounds or the Super Speedway. But you'll see it on your screen right there, and it's going to be fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. And that pretty much is going to do it from here at the Pocono Raceway. Saw some really good racing, had one pit stop at the halfway point, and at the end of it all, it was Wyatt Walker putting on a dominating lap-to-lap performance and winning a perfect race here at the Pocono Raceway. Caution-free as well, to add on top of that. Will we see more cautions coming up at one of the 2 Nashville races that we'll be going to first? It's going to be awesome. We hope to see you there. But until then, here are your points after race number 3 right here at the Pocono Raceway. One more time, congratulations to Wyatt Walker on winning here at the Tricky Triangle. And that about does it for me. I'm Elijah Leonard signing out, and we'll see you in the next one.